closer and closer to kickoff. Hogs, Gators tonight, 6 o'clock, ESPN Arkansas, and HitThatLine.com. Tommy, saying you haven't fared well against the Gators is an understatement. We talked about it extensively this week. This is a football game that you have not had a lot of successful outcomes in.
No, you're 0-4 when playing in Gainesville, so you haven't won a game there. When you play Florida, they're very good every time. You seem to play them only one time since joining the SEC. If you played a Florida team that wasn't ranked in the top 25, there's been a whole lot of instances where you've had to play a top 10 Florida team. So tonight will be no different in the history of this series. In fact, we'll give you a stat later on that Andrew Hutchinson with Hog Sports came up that the state of Florida hasn't been very good over the last 40-plus years. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show as well.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of statistics surrounding this game, Tommy, like you're talking about, that don't favor the Razorbacks and they highly favor the Gators. And I think the conversation tonight is going to be predicated around two guys, Kyle Trask and Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks, the former Florida quarterback, Kyle Trask now the current Florida quarterback. What is the dynamic going to look like tonight? There's going to be the coaching matchup. Dan Mullen, Barry Odom, these guys have met on the football field, on the gridiron before. How does that play into tonight with Sam Pittman out? But, Tommy, I think you have to look at the quarterback first and foremost. Just what is going to happen with these two guys? Kyle Trask has been unbelievable this season. 22 passing touchdowns, has been lethal when given the opportunity, and Arkansas needs to be able to take it away tonight. But frankly, Tommy, I know Kyle Pitts ruled out for this game according to Laura Rutledge, but I don't know how Arkansas is going to game plan and stop him tonight. It's going to be fascinating to watch the tactician Barry Odom see if he can dial up some blitzes and some zones that confuse Trask to the best of his ability.
Well, so far no one's been able to do it because he's thrown like 4 touchdowns in every ball game, and you went over the 22-3 ratio with touchdowns to interceptions on College Game Day earlier. They compared his to Joe Burrow's numbers a year ago. Very good comparison there. What is it, 69% completion percentage, which was about the only number lower or not equal to or in the same breath as Joe Burrow. So it's on the same track as a Heisman Trophy winner a year ago. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman Trophy. The point was that was being made this morning is how good a season he is having. Can Arkansas be the defense that confuses him, that forces him to throw 2 or 3 interceptions tonight and double his season total? You know, history says that the answer is probably no, but that's what you're going to have in order to win this ball game tonight if you're Arkansas.
Tommy, even in the single loss that Texas A&M that Florida has this season to the Texas A&M Aggies, listen to his stats: 23 of 32, 312 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and that was in a loss, man. So it goes to show you, like you mentioned, he has just been automatic, at least 4 touchdowns every game this season. I mean, Kyle Trask, you mentioned the Joe Burrow comparison. I know it seemed like that it was the Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields Heisman to lose, but with Trevor having COVID and not getting to participate in the Notre Dame game, and another, I think it was Boston College that they beat, and then Justin Fields, he's still been dominant, but we know that Ohio State game got canceled this weekend. Man, this is a great chance for Kyle Trask, especially in an SEC championship that they could possibly play against the Crimson Tide, to really stake his claim for why he deserves the Heisman Trophy, Tommy.
Yeah, and maybe it gets him in contention. I still think, not that Florida isn't a brand name in college football, but right now Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson brand is bigger. So Ohio State's brand is just a little bit bigger. Not that the Florida brand isn't on that mantle or on that top shelf. It just might not have the center placement right now that Clemson and Ohio State do. And trust me, as we found out in 06 and 07, those things do matter. And that might be the difference in winning this or not. Now, down the stretch, one of the things that will affect Trask and the ability to maybe attract some Heisman votes is the fact that their schedule isn't real strong the rest of the way. You mentioned Pitts is out this week and next. They play Vanderbilt in a week. So there's not a lot to get geared up for if you're Florida. You can't stub your toe. Arkansas is likely the most difficult team that they'll play the rest of the way in the regular season. I think Arkansas is better than Vanderbilt that they have in a week. They got LSU at the end of the year, Tennessee stuck in between that. Kentucky might be the one you want to have a conversation about. They were handling Vanderbilt pretty handily earlier. But Arkansas is certainly one of the more difficult challenges that Florida has left on their regular season schedule.
Tommy, take a wild guess on how the crew selected the Florida-Arkansas game tonight.
Well,
Just
I
take
know
a wild
I
guess.
tweeted out a picture of this, so I know the answer that
Okay.
no one picked Arkansas. And I sarcastically put, "Hey, do these guys not know that Arkansas is 3-3?" I don't know why anyone would expect a panel of national experts to pick the Razorbacks. I don't know why everybody was floored, and I put a kind of a sarcastic tweet out about that. Even Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, who was the guest picker.
Come on, Jack.
What do you expect? Arkansas is a 3-3 team going up against a team that's ranked 5th or 6th in the country with one loss. Why in the world would you expect anyone to pick the Razorbacks straight up? These aren't picks against the spread. These are picks straight up. What analyst nationally would you expect to do that on a show like College Game Day? I certainly didn't expect any pick for the Razorbacks.
Was it Kurt Herbstreit that picked them to beat Texas A&M a couple weeks ago, or am I making that up?
I think so. I mean, and it's amazing how when someone picks your team or doesn't pick your team, because immediately when I tweeted that out, it was pointed out, well, Roman Harper on SEC Game Day, SEC Nation, he picked the Hogs. He's smart. He's all of a sudden smart, and all these guys are idiots. They're just idiots.
Harper,
There might be a reason why they're on College Game Day.
Tommy Harper, Roman Harper, former Alabama secondary player, also played with the New York Saints. Good grief, the New Orleans Saints for quite some time. He loves him some Razorbacks this season, man.
Hey.
You've had Laura Rutledge, who jumped on the train early, said that they were going to be her surprise team, which they have been to this point.
Yeah,
So,
but there's a difference in being the surprise team and beating expectations, and then beating the 5th or 6th ranked Florida Gators in the swamp on a Saturday night.
something that you never.
So again, I understand everybody wants respect. We get no respect. It is not a logical pick to pick Arkansas straight up over the Florida Gators today.
And Lane comments on our YouTube live stream. And again, not only are we playing on different radio stations here across the state, ESPN 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 104.3 Harrison Mountain Home, 96.3 Hot Springs Central Arkansas, and then also 95.3 Fort Smith River Valley. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So if you're not subscribed to our social media channels, make sure you do that. Lane just feels like that this is a proud state again, and I think that's what Sam Pittman's done, because, Tommy, take this time last year in November. Let's say you're traveling to Florida with Chad Moore still as your head coach. You have no belief whatsoever that you're going to have a chance to accomplish anything in this football game, and you don't even have Sam Pittman going down there, and yet there's just this sense of belief. Maybe not necessarily that you're going to go down there and win, but it's going to be a competitive football game. And for all the good that Sam Pittman has done for this state, I think just injecting belief back into this football program has been one of the biggest things that he's done for the state of Arkansas.
And we're going to talk to Clay Henry in about an hour here on the program. He brought up a great point about the confidence of the team in handing it over to Barry Odom. If this had been a decade ago and you were going down to Florida and Bobby Petrino had gotten some kind of illness and he's your play caller, he is the central figure to everything that goes on with the football team, I would imagine, maybe quietly, maybe unspoken, that team boards the plane to go to a place like Gainesville with very little confidence they can win the ball game. And that's the difference. You go down to Florida, not that Sam Pittman isn't central into everything you do, central to the leadership, central to making sure the coaches have the game plan put together, but a lot of what Sam does has led up to this point today to get the game plan ready, to get the coaches organized. He is not as central because he's not as hands-on into the game day stuff. And I think the players understand the process because they live it. And that's why they still have the confidence that, hey, we can go make this happen down there. I think if you had different coaches in different circumstances, and I bring up Petrino because we know how hands-on he was into the offense and really halftime adjustments, even with the defense at times, those players probably wouldn't believe in those other assistants quite the way that we're believing, and we think they do, for at least from the outside world, in this staff's ability to pick up for Coach Pittman today and take that team down to Florida and win.
I think you make an excellent point. I think one of the reasons that you have that difference, and it's not to say that there wasn't a lot of success that occurred in the Petrino era. That'd be lied if we said otherwise. But to wrap it up here, I think what Sam Pittman has done and is just given so much confidence, passing it publicly and privately along to his assistant coaches. And you've heard just the adulation over and over that he's given to Barry Odom, Kendall Briles, even Scott Fountain in these early struggles at this point of the season. And I think that's what that does, Tommy, is not only do the coaches on his staff feel like that he's giving them a bunch of credit, but it just passes on. It translates to the players like, well, if coach feels this way about these guys, then we should feel the exact same way. And it really builds the team camaraderie, which I think you've seen so far through 6 games of the college football season.
Hey, I was in the Walmart neighborhood market this morning, and the gentleman that was stocking the shelves, I had my mask on, I had a Razorback T-shirt on. He didn't have a clue who I was or what I was doing, but he saw my shirt. He knew I was a Hog fan, and we struck up a brief conversation. And he could see that, you could sense in him, I could see in him that he had some belief this team was going to go win. And he made the comment that, a year ago you didn't have any hope at all in a game like this, but the difference is Chad, and this was his quote, Chad would say things like, wait till we get our players in here. This coach here, he believes these players can go do it. I said, you know what? I think that's the biggest difference in last year and this year because it's all the same players. He goes, yeah, it's amazing how you got all conference players sitting on the bench a year ago that are out there showing out this year. And the difference is the coaches believing in the players and the players recognizing that and believing back in the coaches. And, hey, if a gentleman in the grocery store can recognize that and me and you can recognize that, certainly the players can feel and understand the confidence that this staff has in them that maybe wasn't there a year ago.
We're off and running here on Arkansas Game Day. We're opening up the phone lines 877-377-6963 live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
The pregame show that gets you hyped. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Stop in today at Randall Ford, where you'll find over 150 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. We have what you want at the price that will fit your budget. We have 35 certified pre-owns. We even have over 25 vehicles under $10,000 and no payment for 90 days. All used vehicles go through a 115-point safety inspection. Plus, we will deliver your new purchase right to your front door. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com. Home of the lowest price guarantee.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
They say, trust the process. But if enjoyment isn't part of that process, don't trust the process. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor.
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told you.
Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
I told you that front tire needed air.
I know, Dad.
Where's the tire iron? I told you, always keep a tire iron and a jack.
I know, Dad. I got it. Roadside assistance is included with my shelter insurance auto policy. It's one of the reasons you told me to get it, remember?
Maybe you do listen after all.
At Shelter, listening to you is what we do best.
Ask Shelter agents Ted McAvoy or Jeff Clark about a free insurance review.
Miss Anna's on Towson is quickly becoming one of Fort Smith's favorite haunts. We're now serving breakfast from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Blue Plate specials served Monday through Friday. And don't forget about 99-cent Pie Tuesday. So whether you're craving some of our great kickin' chicken or one of our world-famous desserts, Miss Anna's is the place to be. 5001 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, 649-6300. That's 649-6300.
Winter is just around the corner. Don't get caught out in the cold. Did you know you could save up to 60% on your heating bill by converting to safe, reliable natural gas from AOG? The savings can actually pay for your conversion cost. In addition, natural gas can deliver your energy needs on the coldest day, even when the power is out. Call 784-2000 or visit AOGC.com and switch to natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
This is Randy Magnus, mortgage loan manager with Arvest Bank in Fort Smith. Have you checked your mortgage rate lately? A lot of times people forget about their rate after their loan is closed. Your friends at Arvest Bank would love the opportunity to review your current loan. With Arvest's competitive rates, you might be able to lower your monthly payment, shorten the term of your loan, or both. Arvest services 99% of the loans that originate, so most of the time you can deal with any of our local branches for all your mortgage needs. Please give us a call at 479-573-1127 or download the Home For Me app to your mobile device and search for a Fort Smith loan officer. Arvest Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? Oh, no way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Ask Brandon Zimmerman in Barling or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith about Shelter's home insurance.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. We will be getting into a Bud Light scoreboard update. It's a little less than what we usually have on a Saturday. It
may include some golf today.
Yeah, seriously. To get into a Masters update, as 4 SEC games have been postponed as of this weekend, and I think it was 20? Was it 20 or 12? I just remember it being a staggering number that had been postponed as of this weekend. But I want to tell you real quick about what's going on here at Randall Ford. They have right now 35 certified pre-owns in stock, and 25 of those are under $10,000. So when it comes to the monthly payment, it is going to be extremely low, but they go through all of these pre-owned selections with a 115-point safety inspections. So come on by and see the incredible selection, pre-owned and new Ford trucks, cars, and SUVs at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Let's get into a Bud Light scoreboard update, Tommy.
And you mentioned
and Masters.
Yeah, and a Masters update as well. You mentioned the SEC slate, and we'll start there today because there's only 3 games on tap in the Southeastern Conference. Kentucky leading Vanderbilt right now. A little tighter than I would expect, Ty, 31-20. This game in the third quarter with 2:53 left. Kentucky jumped out to an early 14-0 lead over Vanderbilt, which is exactly what you would expect. Vanderbilt answered back with 14 points of their own in the second quarter. Right now it's an 11-point game in Lexington as Kentucky holding a slim 11-point lead. And I say slim, Kentucky's 2-4. They got a really good defense, but it's more about Vanderbilt right now, who's 0-5 and has looked pretty woeful this year. I really expected Kentucky to probably have a much wider margin of a lead right now in the third quarter.
Maybe it'll loosen up a little bit. We'll see what Kentucky's offense, Tommy, has just been horrendous so far this season. Their defense, we know they have one of the better defenses in the SEC.
They were running at will early in this game.
Yeah, but it's Vanderbilt, so I'm pretty sure everyone does that. This would be the year that you'd want to see Vanderbilt on your schedule, even though you lost to them back in 2018. But yeah, it's just weird, Tommy, not having a lot of SEC games front and backloaded on the schedule today, but that's just kind of what you're dealing with right now. And that's why this morning I was telling you this morning that we had college football on one TV and we had the Masters on the other. Anything stand out to you about what's going on in Augusta so far today?
Well, we'll get to Dustin Johnson started out. He was 4 under after 5 holes. Eagled the second, birdied the third. I mean, he was just on a tear early in this round. So I've got that on right now. He is the leader at in the third round at 14 under par, as he is still on the front nine, and I believe he's at number 8 right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. I was like you. I had College Game Day on one. I was watching some of the golf. Then a few of the early games that we're going to get to in the Bud Light scoreboard update that are in the top 25. But I think a lot of fans right now, and I know we got a lot of guys probably listening, sitting on a tree stand somewhere right now, and they're keeping an eye on golf. So golf, it's very unusual that in the month of November we would have one eye on golf in the middle of college football season. So we will keep an eye on that. All right, let's take a look at some of the other scores inside the top 25 right now in our Bud Light scoreboard update. It's hard for me to root for the U, and I am not. They're playing Virginia Tech today. Right now, Virginia Tech with a 24-13 lead over Miami, who is 9th ranked in the country. Derek King for Miami, 18 of 29 so far, 170 yards in the game. That game in Blacksburg. I am all about some Virginia Tech in this one today, Ty.
Yeah, I think I was a little surprised, Tommy, to see the line of that game was favoring the Hokies by 2 based on what Derek Keene has done to defenses so far this season. But it's holding water at this point. Blacksburg is apparently a really fun atmosphere to take in for a college football experience. I'd like to go there someday. I know that we have a few people that we work for that went to school there, Tommy. That's definitely a bucket list type of venue that I would like to eventually make my way down towards.
And again, 24-13 Virginia Tech over Miami in the third quarter with about 5:40 left in the third frame. Another interesting, fact about this 2020 football season, Indiana is in the top 10. I think it's the first time they've been ranked in the top 10 since 1955. Right now they're playing Michigan State on the road. Michigan State has yet to score in this game. They're 1-2 on the year. Indiana 24, Michigan State 0.
Wow.
Number 16, Marshall 21, Middle Tennessee State 7. That game also in the third quarter. And another somewhat surprising top 25 team, Liberty, who beat Virginia Tech on that weird ending to the game a week ago. They lead Western Carolina 42-7. Just underway in the top 25, Louisiana and the Ragin' Cajuns scoreless with South Alabama, with that game just underway. Some games that will kick off while we're on the air until 3 o'clock. Number 2, Notre Dame and Boston College. We'll keep an eye on that. And number 20, USC takes on Arizona. That game also at 2:30 today inside the top 25. And right at the tail end of our show, number 23, Northwestern and Purdue. And those are all of the games while we're around inside the top 25 that we'll be keeping an eye on as we get ready for 6th-ranked Florida and the Razorbacks. You can hear it right here tonight where you're listening as the Razorbacks are in Gainesville with a 3-3 record to take on the 4-1 Florida Gators. And that's your Bud Light scoreboard update.
Tommy, you mentioned Indiana being really a surprise this season. Now, I know a lot of Arkansas fans are banging the door that Sam Pittman should be not only the SEC Coach of the Year, but the National Coach of the Year. But if you want to take your Razorback lenses off for just one sec, Tom Allen at Indiana is the Coach of the Year in college football based on what they've done through this point of the season. And I think, if I remember correctly, I want to double-check this, I think they play Ohio State next week. So
that is correct. They play them next – or let me say –
they're scheduled.
They're scheduled to play Ohio State next week.
We'll see, Tommy, how they
at the shoe. So.
Yeah, how they fare against college football elite Ohio State and Justin Fields, who has been unbelievable in the games we've actually get to see him participate so far this season.
As far as Coach of the Year, if Tom Allen and Indiana win the game next week against number 3 Ohio State, stop the fight, stop the conversation, no more calls, please. We have a winner. He is the National Coach of the Year based on that.
It would be hard to defer and disagree with that statement based on how big they've been so far, how surprising they've been. And maybe you looked in the other round, and it kind of see – because here's the way I see it playing out in the SEC. If you're talking about Sam Pittman being Coach of the Year, if you want to see a scenario where your guy is given and bestowed that award, here's what has to happen. Number 1, he needs to beat Dan Mullen tonight, because the two guys he's battling out are Dan Mullen and Jimbo Fisher. Nick Saban has won Coach of the Year one time in this decade. I don't think, and I say this decade, I guess we've started a new decade. This past decade, he won it one time in the SEC Coach of the Year. I do not anticipate that he wins the award this year, even if they go undefeated through this conference. I think the award would much more likely be divvied out to Jimbo Fisher, Dan Mullen, or if Sam Pittman can finish strong and if they can win the game tonight. I don't think he can win the SEC Coach of the Year, Tommy, unless they beat the Florida Gators tonight.
I'm with you. I think it's Dan Mullen's award to lose at this point, and I don't know that that's what they're necessarily playing for, but Dan Mullen has the path by beating Arkansas tonight. We've talked about the remainder of Florida's schedule. Florida plays Vanderbilt, then Kentucky, then Tennessee, then LSU to close their year. Those are all very winnable games for the Florida Gators. I think win or lose, but just a strong showing against Alabama. He is your SEC Coach of the Year is my estimate.
Yeah, and that's hard to, again, like we were talking about with Tom Allen, that would be hard to argue at this point.
But Tom Allen and Indiana, if everything holds to form, will play Ohio State next week for the outright lead in the Big Ten East. Indiana 3-0, Ohio State 3-0, Maryland 2-1, Rutgers, Michigan State, Michigan all enter the day at 1-2, and Penn State, who was the first win of the year for Indiana and ranked in the top 10 of the time, is one of their 3 wins that Indiana has so far this year. They played Rutgers, beat them 37-21, and then Michigan a week ago was ranked 23rd. So 2 ranked wins, but certainly Penn State, who doesn't have a win yet this year and playing Nebraska today, and Michigan have not lived up to the billing. Shows you why polls and rankings and ratings, the system's flawed, whether it's politics or sports or media. There's certainly some broken down systems because we put too much stock in name brands, and things like Penn State and Michigan were ranked too high to begin the year for sure.
We're taking your calls all Arkansas game day. Hour and a half left of the program. If you want to get in here, it's 877-377-6963. We're live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
There's no other pregame show that gets you more ready for the game. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, back again in World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is the number, celebrating 25 years in business at World of Wireless. Make the move to DISH. Get the Hopper 3 system. You get $200 in gifts, a $100 Visa gift card, and Ben, you're also throwing in the Google Hub, which allows you to automate your home.
Yes, call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. Check out the home automation, the smart home products with us, and we're giving you one for free when you sign up with new DISH service. If you want to get a Google Home camera, you can actually see who's at the door on your television screen with the DISH Hopper 3 system.
That's a great deal.
You want to watch the kids in the backyard? You can have it on every Joey. See a camera on every receiver in the house and every TV in the house if you got kids playing in the backyard. So you don't have to use it just for security reasons. But you got to come by and see us at the corner of Church Street and Highway 22 in Barling next to Franco Furniture.
All right, help them celebrate 25 years. Make the move to DISH. Get $200 in gifts, part of the 25-year celebration going on right now at World Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
Randall Ford is excited to announce their state-of-the-art mobile service van, stocked with all the latest tools and technology needed to service your vehicle. Everything from oil changes, warranty repair, battery, software updates, brake jobs, and so much more. All is done with your convenience and safety in mind. We'll come to your office or home to provide professional service the Randall Ford way. Stop by today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or check us out online 24/7, randallford.com. Ford, the #1 selling brand in America.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
You could win a year of free internet from Wave Rural Connect. Here's how it works. If you sign up and are contracted between October 1st and December 31st, 2020, you have a chance to win 1 year of internet based on the internet speed you signed up for. That's it. So what are you waiting for? Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online, waveruralconnect.com, to get details and sign up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Frank Roll Furniture Super Black Friday Blowout Sale, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thanksgiving Day the 26th, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday the 27th, and 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Saturday the 28th. For example, Catnapper Reclining Sofa and Love's regular $22.50, on sale finance price $18.22, cash price $16.70. Store-wide sale. All furniture, bedroom furniture, and mattresses are on sale. 3 days only at Frank Roll Furniture Super Black Friday Sale. Best seats in the house.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's time to plan the Christmas party for your business or family. And the place to make it a special and memorable time is at Doe's Eat Place in Fort Smith. Award-winning steaks and atmosphere, along with the largest selections of adult beverages in the River Valley, await your evening. When you think about what to get that hard-to-impress boss or family member, gift certificates from Doe's are sure to impress. Don't delay. Call Doe's Eat Place at 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, open 5 till 9 Tuesday through Thursday and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, Arkansas Game Day alongside Tommy Kraft. I am Ty Richardson. And when it comes to statistics involving Arkansas football and basketball and baseball, there's really only one guy, and that is Mr. Andrew Hutchinson, who's friend of the program. We've had him on a decent number of times. Went to college together with him. Just a good all-around dude. And Tommy, he laid out a statistic this morning that, I don't know if it made you cry, but you're just sitting there like, is that really true?
Yeah, and I'm going to get to it in just a second, because what we always do is, on Monday when you're playing a team in the top 10, you're not ranked, you start walking through scenarios. By the end of the week, you gradually work your way towards you're going to win the game, right? So by today, there's a lot of people, a lot of fans that got up feeling good about it, thinking, hey, we're going to Gainesville to win. And then you read something like this. Here's what Hutch posted earlier. Crazy but true, Arkansas has lost its last 10 games played in the state of Florida. The last time, and let me just ask this as a trivia question, and we talked about this in the break, but let me just ask this for everyone out there. You know what the last time Arkansas won a game in the Sunshine State was? Think about it for a second out there. You hadn't won at Florida. That's 4 times. You didn't win the Citrus Bowl, the Capital One Bowl in 2006 against Wisconsin. Let me help you with another one. You didn't beat Michigan in 99. They're following the 98 season, January 1 of 99. You start thinking about it. Atwater dropped the pass in 86 against Miami.
Oh,
that foggy day in the Gator Bowl, you didn't win that one. You start rolling through it. The last time Arkansas won a game in the Sunshine State was 31-6 in the upset of number 2 Oklahoma in the 78 Orange Bowl. Just think about that a minute. The last time you won in Florida was 42 years ago?
Not ideal. Is that ideal? Not ideal.
Oh. But these are the guys we need to be playing in Arlington. Golly.
That is a statistic that you do not want to be associated with, but unfortunately,
good work out of Hutch on that. So,
yeah.
So I hadn't even thought about that angle, and then I read his tweet this morning. I'm like,
gross.
Man, that is retweet worthy right there.
It's where you look at a stat and you just want to throw up after seeing it. Like you just instantly something comes up your throat, and it's not what you want. You were trying to upchuck and you just can't do it. But hopefully that changes tonight, starting at 6:00 here on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com as well as ESPN 99.5. We're going to be taking you for the next hour and a half here at Arkansas Game Day, live at Randall Ford, brought to you by Bud Light. So if you want to call or text in, you're more than welcome to 877-377-6963. We talked about the quarterback matchup between Felipe Franks and Kyle Trask, but I think another important piece of the information that we just got as of this morning when Laura Rutledge of ESPN and the SEC Network reported that Kyle Pitts, the best tight end in college football, and I think it's pretty consensus that case, is not going to be participating tonight. Now, Tommy, when I texted you that this morning, you instantly said, well, you can't let his backup have a career day either, which is a good point. But I'm curious. I mean, this guy has 8 of Kyle Trask's 22 touchdown passes this year. How much of an impact are we going to see?
So there's 14 more is what you're telling me.
Okay. That's true. That's what Felipe's thrown 14 this year, right?
Yeah.
I think that's right. So Kyle Trask has thrown as many touchdowns to people outside of Kyle Pitts and it's tied with Felipe there. But to me, this is huge. And listen, you never root for injuries of any of the sort. Hopefully Kyle's okay and will be able to play next week. But this is a big momentum-shifting type of – it's not a move, but just information that you got prior to this game tonight.
Yeah, Felipe's 14 touchdowns, the same number on the interceptions is 3. So percentage completion about the same, yards not the same, but about 400 yards short of what Trask has done. So, listen, is this a factor? Absolutely, it's a factor when you take one of the best players off the field. The thing is, you can't let it become in your head as a fan. Now, I don't know what the team's going to think about this, and I'm sure they prepared both ways. Now they can know what way to prepare in their final meetings. This, to me, is not a big enough factor to say, well, now you're going to win the game. You know, this isn't the Alabama-Florida game, maybe in the championship game where, this might make the difference in winning or losing. Florida's still got a lot of good players. Florida's still got a good defense, and they got a really good quarterback. Now, if you came to me and you said, Kyle Trask didn't play, and he has been ruled out for tonight, might have a different purview, different perspective on that. But Pitts, yes, very good player, 83 yards a game. You mentioned the number of touchdowns there for the season at 8. But in your head, is that really enough to swing the balance your direction and win the game tonight?
I don't think so. I don't think win, but Tommy, this is a guy that's probably going to be a top 10, top 15 draft pick. Like I don't think
this is the best news Barry Odom's gotten since he got up this morning.
Yeah,
I promise you.
And to me, I've seen people, and listen to your question, and I think the answer is no. It's not going to be significant enough where Arkansas is now projected to win the football game. But when you have someone in your back pocket, here's what Arkansas, and I heard Arns talking about this yesterday, and I think he was spot on. He doesn't say a lot of things that are spot on, but he was spot on about this. So Kadarius Toney is like their game-changing Percy Harvin type of guy. So if you shut him down and Trask is trying to throw it to Trevon Grimes or some of the other players that they had, I think that is the blueprint for how you beat this football team tonight. You don't have Kyle Pitts like we saw what Weidemeyer did in the Texas A&M game. Hudson Clark got mossed. Bumper Pool got mossed. Grant Morgan got mossed because they were so focused on Isaiah Spiller and Aniyah Smith that they didn't focus on Weidemeyer, and he just torched him. Well, now you don't necessarily have to worry about this just all-American type tight end in Pitts, and you can focus on some of the other players. And I think if you can shut down Toney tonight, then I think that's going to bode well for this defense. Yeah. But if he goes off, Tommy, it's going to be a long day for Barry Odom, Sam Carter, Ryan Rhodes, and Derek LeBon tonight.
And to your point, Toney's number 1 on the team in all-purpose yards, and that's what in today's RPO game and in the way these passes count that are you can pitch it forward to someone on a jet sweep, half a yard, it counts as a pass. You really need to look at all-purpose yards a little stronger when analyzing who the players are. Toney's 1 and Kyle Pitts is number 2. Toney's had Kadarius Toney 520 all-purpose yards so far this year. Kyle Pitts 414. So you've just taken out the number 2 guy in their offense for all-purpose yards. So that's important. And then you talk about Grimes. Well, he's down the list. See about number 7 on that list. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6 on that list. 194 yards. So no one's really even close to these top 2 players that are on the all-purpose yards list. And I think that matters when you look at at what goes on here with the way these offenses across college football are set up. Not necessarily Florida. They throw it down the field maybe a little bit more. But it does matter when you start looking at the way a lot of things go these days.
And when you look at what Florida's going to try and do today, they're going to try and get Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, Hayden Henry, and those guys out in space with a running back. And that was one of the concerns you had when you played Mississippi State and Colin Hill, who is such a dynamic playmaker. I know that he's since opted out and preparing for the NFL, went out early in that game with a concussion, so you didn't necessarily have to worry about that. But when you're going up against some of these guys tonight like Davis and Wright, you better tackle in space or it is going to be a long day. That's the same thing with Tony when he gets the ball in space on a wide receiver screen, bumble screen, tunnel screen, whatever it may be, because Mullen and then Brian Johnson, former Utah quarterback, now Mullen's offensive coordinator, is going to try and get those guys involved and matched up. Arkansas's been pretty good about sure tackling so far this season. That needs to continue in the Swamp.
For the most part, you're right, but we've seen a little bit of, we saw it at Auburn for a half. We saw it a little bit with A&M. I'd say even some with Tennessee, where they try to hit and not tackle. Trying to, and that is one thing that, for the most part, you're right. They have been fundamentally good tacklers, but there have been breakdowns for series and quarters and maybe halves, when I particularly look at the Auburn game, where they didn't take good angles, which led to poor tackling. I thought in the A&M game they were just trying to hit people and knock their head off at times rather than tackle. So, hits are great, but tackles are better. And I think that's one thing they can't get caught up in the emotion of whatever's going on tonight, trying to win for their coach, trying to win for Felipe, whatever, on defense. Just get the job done with tackling and don't worry about highlight hits.
You can't give up big plays tonight. And
These guys are too strong. They'll bounce off of you at times. I mean, you just can't do that.
Florida is a big play machine. I mean, Trask's his touchdown number at 22 itself is pretty self-evident that they're going to score in bunches. Dan Mullen is an offensive tactician. He's done it with a number of different quarterbacks. This is kind of his new toy he gets to play with. He's had Tebow, he's had Dak Prescott, and now he has Kyle Trask. Can you stop him tonight? And you're not necessarily going to stop him. The Matt Corral performance, that's not going to happen the rest of the season. You won't have a defensive-like performance like you did against Ole Miss at home. But what you can ask for from this defense is to just frustrate Kyle Trask, because he doesn't have his main target in Pitts. He's got a couple other guys that he can work with, but can you frustrate him enough tonight? And here's the other thing, Tommy, and we'll close down with this. We've talked about how much pressure's been on Felipe all week. Hey, he wants to beat his former team. He wants to beat his former coach. And to a certain extent, he wants to beat the fan base that booed him at home at times. Well, what about Kyle Trask's mindset heading into this game? What if I lose to the guy that job I replaced? How does that make me feel? There's some pressure on Kyle Trask that I don't think we've necessarily mentioned at points this week. And maybe we'll hit on that coming up in the program. Also going to talk to Clay Henry as well.
Yeah, when you look at Trask, and just to put a finer point on yours, the interception totals, he's never thrown more than one in a game. We've talked about, he's only got 3 on the year. One of the things you ever want to pinpoint in his minimal completion percentage was against Missouri at 58%. Other than that, he's been basically in the 70s, 68 for the year, 69% against Georgia, in the 70s the rest of the way. The one thing, though, that stands out when you look at it, he's been sacked a few times. Sacked 3 times against Ole Miss, 7 times. 1 time against Ole Miss, 2 times against South Carolina, and then got another sack against Georgia. So watch out. There's at least a chance this year. He's been sacked 5 times. Maybe you get to him a little bit today. There's some holes maybe in that offensive line.
You would love to see some of the Arkansas defensive linemen get after Kyle Trask tonight. The pressure that's needed to force him to make mistakes, it starts with the guys up front. 877-377-6963 is the number to call in here on Arkansas Game Day. We're live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
The pregame show that gets you hyped. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Randall Ford is excited to announce their state-of-the-art mobile service van, stocked with all the latest tools and technology needed to service your vehicle. Everything from oil changes, warranty repair, battery, software updates, brake jobs, and so much more. All is done with your convenience and safety in mind. We'll come to your office or home to provide professional service the Randall Ford way. Stop by today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or check us out online 24/7, randallford.com. Ford, the #1 selling brand in America.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, back again at World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is the phone number. We're celebrating 25 years in business. The name is World of Wireless because they do everything wireless. Satellite systems with DISH. You can get all the great deals. Plus, you do high-speed internet of all kinds.
Yeah, call WOW now or go to wowfastinternet.com. We offer internet everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. We offer it in the city, outside the city, rural areas, especially if you're east of Fort Smith or south of Fort Smith. And we're launching new services in the Altus area and the Denning area. But you got to call World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH and ask about bundling your internet with your DISH TV service.
You know, for years, if you lived in a rural area, DSL might be the best you can do, or an air card that was expensive. It's amazing the options you have available for people that live in rural areas.
Unlimited data, fast speeds, fast enough to stream, certainly fast enough to do your on-demand with your DISH services. But you got to call us at 877-305-DISH or go to wowfastinternet.com.
Again, that's 877-305-3474.
Woo woo! Beat up sauce alert! 4 new sauces just hit the menu. Listen closely for the lineup. Player 1, pizza sauce. The game day decision of pizza versus wings is now easier than ever. Player 2, lemon pepper. Yep, that's right. Now it's a sauce too. Player 3, orange sauce. Served with a fortune cookie on the side. And lastly, coming in hot, Carolina Reaper. This sauce just moved up to captain, taking over as Beat Up's new blazing sauce. Locations in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Sherwood, Jonesboro, and Conway. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Wave Rural Connect has open ordering for our zone covering parts of Pecola, Fort Coffee, and Spiro. Get amazingly fast internet starting at $49.95 a month, TV starting at $32.95, and fiber phone at $29.95. Sign up is underway. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or check online at signup.waveruralconnect.com and find out too about how you could win a free year of internet. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith or Jim Milam in Charleston about Shelter's home insurance.
This is Brett Good, former Razorback and Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Everyone loves to be on a winning team. That is why I have joined Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Henderson Phillips can help you tackle all your employee benefit, health insurance, and staffing management solutions. Plus, I can help you with any commercial or personal insurance need. Come join my team at Henderson Phillips. Call me, Brett Good, at 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. This is Arkansas Game Day. Coming up, we'll get into what we talked about a little bit. We've talked about the pressure on Felipe Franks, but the same could be said about what's on Kyle Trask's plate tonight. You think about them coming off the biggest win of the Dan Mullen era. What is that going to look like for him tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN? We'll get in that conversation coming up, as well as be joined by Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, at around 2 o'clock. But first, I want to welcome back Jordan here at Randall Ford to the conversation. Jordan, what's going on, man?
Man, just excited to be here today, dude. Lots going on out there. Some pretty trucks, dude. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and we always talk about you guys have the largest selection of trucks in the area. And, man, it starts with the Ford F-150, the best-selling truck in the industry.
Absolutely. That F-150 is just something else. Some of our guys got to go down and see the 2021 F-150s there in Memphis and kind of test drive some of them. And just lots of raves about it. Lots of great reviews.
You guys have a lot going on right now. I mean, I'm looking at kind of just the different sales stuff you have going on. 0 for 60 months plus 2,000 trade assists on select models here at Randall Ford. I mean, it starts there, man.
That's a lot of money. You think about that, how much money that 0% interest saves you alone, and then that other $2,000 on the trade assist, that's unreal.
What about the EcoSport, man? You guys are giving up to $5,250 customer cash back on the EcoSports SES.
Absolutely. You talk about a low payment, what kind of deal that can really make you, that's 20% of that car's value. That'll really save you some money there.
And I know that you've talked about just kind of with COVID and everything going on, the Ford Promise here at Randall Ford, a 12-month buyback program. That's something not a lot of other dealerships are offering. And when I say not a lot, there's none that are offering that, man.
Absolutely. Ford Motor Cred's really stepped up to try to take care of our community because they've taken care of us for so long.
And you think about just like as we're closer, I walked into Walmart this morning. Tommy did as well. They were playing Christmas music. Well, one of the things you guys are also doing, y'all can deliver a purchased car right to your front door. I mean, that's just going above and beyond when it comes to customer service, Jordan.
Absolutely. Before COVID, obviously there was a little bit of that, but not much. But it seems to be it's definitely a growing interest. We're doing it at least 2-3 times a week that a customer really just doesn't want to leave home, and we can deliver and bring the service right to you.
And also as well as the mobile service van that can do a lot of different things, a lot of service needs on your vehicle. You guys are always going above and beyond here at Randall Ford. What do you think about the game tonight, man?
I am excited. They're without their stud tight end. That does make a difference for the quarterback. He's really doesn't have that safety net, as you would say.
We'll see if the Arkansas defense can get after him. Jordan, appreciate it as always, man.
Take care, bud.
All right, and Tommy, I think that's kind of the thing with tonight. When you think about the word pressure, the pressure, again, Arkansas finds itself not being the one that has to shoulder it. It's Florida. They just won, like I said, the biggest game of the Dan Mullen era, 6 o'clock, prime time. Everyone expects him to win this football game. College Game Day picked him across the board. So what happens, Tommy, if it's the fourth quarter and the Hogs are neck and neck with them? Can you see a scenario where Florida starts to get a little nervous on the sidelines at that point?
Well, let me flip that. Would you see yes, they would be nervous, but would you think Arkansas would be nervous in that scenario, trying to beat a top 10 team? Would their knees buckle a little bit? I think Florida certainly has been in that situation a little bit more. Remember, they found themselves down 2 touchdowns a week ago to Georgia. Now, Georgia's got the full attention and respect of a team like Florida, but they didn't buckle, they didn't waver, they didn't say, well, boys, it's not our day. We'll just fold up our tent, take our whooping here today. They came back and then won that game convincingly. What was it, 41-28 the final? So I think Florida's found themselves in some situations where they've had to battle back, and that's exactly what they did against a better team than Arkansas a week ago against Georgia.
And, Tommy, I wonder with this game tomorrow night, I've said repeatedly on the Morning Rush this week that in order for Arkansas to win this game, Felipe is going to have a better game than Kyle Trask. I just don't see a scenario where he has a lesser game than Kyle does and they win this football game. And unless Rakeem and Traylon rush for like 100 yards each, which I just don't see happening, I'm wondering, leading up all week, Felipe's heard about him coming back home. He's probably had teammates reach out. His family's talking about how excited they are to see him play back in Florida. I'm wondering what type of pressure he's going to put on himself tonight. And as you mentioned, he likes playing on the road, man. Does that change, though, a little bit tonight? He's had his best outing so far this year on the road. I'm wondering if that changes or if that stereotype stays the same tonight.
Well, I would imagine he does have that chip on his shoulder. This was a stadium that booed him a year ago. He probably wants to come in and sing a little Toby Keith. How do you like me now? That's probably what he's got in the back of his mind.
He's wanting to do the Kirk Cousins. You
Yes,
like
sir.
that. You like that after following a win. We'll see if he gets a chance to do that tonight. Hour number 2 of Arkansas Game Day coming up. Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, joins us next. We're live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
For the one standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We are celebrating 25 years in business at World of Wireless. Call 877-305-DISH. We got extra prizes. We want you to sign up for DISH right now with World of Wireless.
Yeah, come in and see us at the new location next to Frank Rowe Furniture in Barling. Call 877-305-DISH. 25-year anniversary. We've been serving the River Valley. We can get you installed this weekend with DISH with a 2-year price guarantee and give you 2 free gifts.
You got the Google Hub, which is great for anyone that wants to automate the home, and you got the $100 Visa gift card.
Yes, 2 gifts. You sign up for the Hopper 3 system with new activation, get service, 2-year price guarantee, free voice remote, but you're going to get the 2 gifts, Google Hub and a $100 Visa gift card.
And the Hopper 3 can record up to 16 programs at once. It's got the integrated apps. You can watch Netflix at the push of a button, and it's got the Google Assistant with the voice activation built into the remote.
Just speak to it, and it does everything for you except cook the chicken dinner.
There you go. Call 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for WOW, World of Wireless.
Business owners, if your carpets and floors show the effects of too much foot traffic, call the professionals at your local Service Master Clean. Whether it's janitorial cleaning or specialty cleaning to eliminate dirt and grime from carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors, no job is too big or too small. Service Master Clean has been an industry leader for more than 60 years. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or ServiceMasterPC.com.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your insurance agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when the bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Call Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith, 484-9888, or in Van Buren, 474-9888, and online at kohlergreen.com.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now reopened and ready to serve you. We're open 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Breakfast is served all day and our full menu is available at 10:30 a.m. All-you-can-eat steak on Thursday night, cooked order prime rib on Friday night, and now we deliver on Waiter. Curbside and to-go is still available. Call ahead 632-1014.
You could win a year of free internet from Wave Rural Connect. Here's how it works. If you sign up and are contracted between October 1st and December 31st, 2020, you have a chance to win 1 year of internet based on the internet speed you signed up for. That's it. So what are you waiting for? Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online waveruralconnect.com to get details and sign up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house?
All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
He's going to the house. Raheem Boyd for a touchdown.
Welcome to Arkansas Game Day.
Into the end zone. Arkansas wins. The Razorbacks win.
Presented by Randall Ford and Bud Light, an official title sponsor of the Razorbacks.
Live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. This is Arkansas Game Day, brought to you by Bud Light. Now, alongside Tommy Kraft, I'm Ty Richardson, and we're going to go to the phone lines and welcome in Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated. Clay, before we get to football, I went to Walmart this morning, and they were already playing Christmas music. When is the appropriate time that Christmas music and Christmas decorations should be allowed to be put up and listened to?
Clay, you there?
Hello?
Clay?
Hello?
Oh, there. Try again. Ask your question again, Ty.
Clay, I was at Walmart this morning. We're talking with Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, and I noticed that they had already started playing Christmas music, and it's November the 14th. When is the appropriate day that Christmas music, Christmas decorations, and all that, what is the first day in Clay Henry's mind that should be allowable?
Well, if you live in the North Pole and you're one of the elves, just do it all year long. So it just depends on where you live, Ty. I think Santa has to kind of get ready 365. He may get December 26th off.
Yeah.
But Santa, he has to work all year round. I thought you would know that. You still believe in Santa, right?
You know what, man? Unfortunately, I was told a while ago by an older
No,
sibling.
don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
He's going to get a bag of coal is what he's going to get. well, Santa.
Oh, I know your question, and I get it. I think it's earlier and earlier every year. Yeah. It's as soon as the pumpkins come off the shelf, right?
Yeah. Well, Santa's going to have to be good to the Hogs tonight in Gainesville.
Amen.
Andrew Hutchinson put a stat out, and I hadn't even thought of this, Clay. Arkansas is 0 for 10 in their last 10 games in total in the state of Florida. The last time the Hogs were victorious in the Sunshine State was the Orange Bowl in '78. That's been a few days. That's been a few Christmases ago.
Yeah, if you can bring Dan Hampton and Jimmy Walker and Roland Sale, some of they might have a chance tonight. I'm joking.
That just tells you how good Florida has been, and it tells you about Arkansas's bowl history. But
well, I think the Florida, 3 of those times they were ranked number 1. I guess one of those would have been in Atlanta. Championship game.
96, 97, and 09. They were ranked number 1.
Yeah.
95 in the really championship game, number 2.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, this team is really good too, but they have been beaten, and they are beatable, and they've got one of their key weapons out. Their tight end, their great tight end, isn't going to play tonight. Mm-hmm. He's out with a concussion. I can tell you this: it's going to be a beautiful night. It's 78 with sunshine and only just a hint of a breeze right now, and it's supposed to be falling into the high 60s by the end of the game. So we're going to have a great night for football.
I think it's going to be a really close game tonight, Clay. And we were discussing, Tom and I were discussing this earlier, and I wanted your take on this. When you think we mentioned this against Texas A&M 2 weeks ago, we mentioned this against Tennessee. Once again, Arkansas finds itself in a situation where the pressure's not on their football team; it's on their opponent, the Florida Gators, tonight. I wonder, we've spent so much time talking about Felipe, his mindset heading into this game, going against his former team. Do you think Kyle Trask, how much do you think he's thought about that he's going up against the former Florida quarterback and the pressure that's going to be on him to perform tonight against Arkansas?
Yeah, I think that's what we see as fans and in the media. We look at those kind of angles, and I think the players, more than anything else, they look at who they're going to play against. Mm-hmm. And Kyle Trask is looking at, he's thinking more about Jalen Catalon and what those Arkansas linebackers, Morgan and Brewer, are going to do, and will there be any pressure on him? I'm talking about from the defensive line, and then conversely, it's the pressure is the speed of the Florida defense, and that might be what Frank feels going into the game, is that he hasn't seen speed like that, and he knows those guys. So if he could just go play against one-on-one against Trask, he might like that, but he's going to have to play against a really fast, quick, mobile defense in a scheme that really pressures you and comes. They give you, if you can hold up the pressure, you can beat them deep. But I get what you're saying, and the teams understand what that concept, but the quarterbacks really are focused in on the quarterback is thinking about the defense, and it's the way the game is played. But that's an interesting concept. If you think, I got to match the quarterback, he really got to play against the defense.
We've spent a lot of time focusing on both offenses this week, but we haven't spent hardly enough time on the Florida defense, who's had its ups and downs, didn't probably get out to the best start early in the year. But one stat that stands out from a week ago is the Gators only allowed 2 of 13 third down conversions. That's 15% against Georgia. Now, we know Georgia's not a great offense. They're built around their defense this year. They've struggled with their quarterback. But, Clay, I don't care if you're playing against air. When you allow the team 15% or 2 of 13 on third down, you're doing some things right on defense. That's going to be a challenge tonight for Kendall Briles' unit.
Yeah, what the good news for Arkansas, and you can talk about that Georgia offense, and they were without some of their key receivers. They had some injuries. It's about the playmakers. And I look at Arkansas, and they're going to be, Hunter Henry, we don't know how that ankle is. That bothering him last week, but I think Rakeem Boyd and Traylon Burks, who, in week 2 and 3 weren't really full speed, but they are now, and that's a big deal to being able to convert some big plays against this defense that really gives up some big plays.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not a shutdown defense. When you look back over the course of things, and they've given up some third down conversions. Yeah. Now Georgia, I think Georgia is kind of a slumping offense right now. But I think Arkansas is on the rise, and I know Tom, I've talked about that early in the week, that it looks like kind of Kendall Briles has found his rhythm.
Yeah. Now, Clay, you mentioned they have just pounded the football lately at times where you're like, man, this Arkansas offensive line, you're actually starting to see glimpses of what this could look like under Sam Pittman. Look back in the Texas A&M game where Rakeem goes for 100 yards. Go back to last week where all the third quarter was. I mean, yes, Felipe had the 3 passing touchdowns, but if you remember a lot of those drives, Rakeem and Traylon were just gashing the Tennessee Volunteers defense. Yep. To your point, maybe this is another game where you can see an even more evolving Arkansas offense where they get it going on all different cylinders. We've seen Franks has really had a lot of success on the road so far this season. Can you have that same type of production from Traylon Smith and Rakeem Boyd being backed up by the offensive line? I think the offensive line is going to be geared up and ready to play tonight, Clay.
Yep. And sometimes it's about what the defense prepares for. And if Florida is really gunning for Franks and their outside guys are charging up the field, it changes the blocking angle and it gives you some off-tackle stuff. And that's what happened in the Tennessee game. I think Tennessee was really concentrating on some of those third down runs to start the third quarter. Their outside guys were charging up the field, and it gave them some blocking angle, and they converted. And so that really gives Florida something to think about and how they want to play their guys. And it might give Franks a little more time if they're playing the run, and that's where that balance comes into play. If you can run and pass, boy, it makes it a lot more fun to call plays.
Yeah. In the simplest way of boiling this game down to how it's going to play out, can you keep Kyle Trask from throwing for 4 or 5 touchdowns? Can you keep Florida from scoring more than 35 points? And Arkansas has never scored more than 31 against Florida in the series history. It would have to be different tonight. They scored 31 in the win in 2016. You know, that's going to be the challenge tonight. How do you score 35 or more to have a chance to win this game?
Yeah, Trask is really good at checking down to his backs, and they're going to put pressure on Arkansas's linebackers to cover the outside with that. I think the secondary might get an interception or two. And they're better. They're better at playing the ball in the air than they've been in a long time. And we go back to the Texas A&M game. It's like, well, that didn't look like they were even remotely in the right areas. Well, they didn't have Catalan. I think that's the guy that if you watch how he plays is how Arkansas's defense will go. And make a play in space, a strip here and there. Arkansas has got to get a turnover, maybe 2, to have a chance in this game. Because Florida's the better team. But I've seen this defense surprise several times this year when I just didn't see it coming. And you just wonder what, for one game, what's the emotional level of what this team wants to do for their head coach who's watching back home.
That's an excellent point that we've definitely hit on it multiple times this week. Clay, as we close down shop here, we've asked you about Christmas. We've asked you about Arkansas, Florida tonight. We had a riveting conversation with Chuck Barrett yesterday, the voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, about the front forward hog-facing logo. Now, this conversation kind of came after you came on, but does that, and I know you said that you were making fun of Jenkins and that you were going to get him a new shirt, but
yes,
we've had people
I'm
text
working
in.
on that. I'm already working on that.
We've had people text in already this morning that have made fun of the logo that's on our Hit That Line network and our video stuff, because Jenkins, I think, out of fun, Tommy just put the front-facing logo.
Yeah, I think he did that to spite us. He used that logo for today's show.
But for those wondering that, I guess,
and we're not smart enough to change it.
I know. Clay, for those wondering that didn't get to listen to your take on this yesterday, just your final authoritative opinion on the frontward-facing hog.
Well, it needs to go by the wayside, kind of like the old Apex, jerseys that Arkansas wore back in the 90s, and you just put them in the closet. Sometime later, you show your grandkids, like, hey, this was a failed experiment, and they'll say, you mean somebody wanted our logo to be that? And you say, yeah. They ended up firing him, and he went to Kansas, and then he got their school on NCAA probation. You just tell them all those stories. Yeah.
You put the front-facing hog next to the Apex jersey, the Chad Morris picture, and and maybe the Citadel game with Jack Crow. I'm not sure what else goes in there.
Son, that really did happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of these things happen, and if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it. So.
Exactly right. Well, Clay, enjoy the game tonight, man. I wish I was down there with you. Gainesville is definitely a destination I eventually want to take. We always appreciate your time on a game day, and hopefully the Hogs will surprise us all tonight, man.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Be careful coming back. We'll talk to you Tuesday.
Will do.
All right.
Always good to catch up with Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated. When it comes to Razorback sports, there is no one better. And then also he'll occasionally venture off into golf, fly fishing, and just about anything under the sun. And that's why we love Clay so much.
He's in his hotel room in Gainesville right now, getting ready after a long 16, 17 hours of total driving. He broke it up with a overnight stay at his brother's house in Alabama, but I'm sure he's got his eyes on the Masters right now, because when you look around the world of college football, unless you're rooting against Miami, because I can't imagine anyone rooting for Miami, and there's not a lot of other games to really keep an eye on, or games that are riveting right now at this point. So golf has got the attention, I think, of most of the sporting world, and it's actually for all you hunters out there that might be headed back home after a morning in the woods. You haven't really missed a whole lot at this point, so good for you. Is all well timed on the opening day of Modern Gun in the state of Arkansas.
Tommy, you mentioned hunters this morning. We got a great pick from Pilot Mike in Tulsa. He's making himself some duck gumbo tonight. He's got a full rack of I don't know ducks, if that's mallards or what the crap those are. That shows you my hunting expertise, but looks like he's already gunned them down. He's mixing up some duck gumbo. I know that my friend Brent and Trey they hit 2 bucks this morning. My brother and his friend Peyton were not so lucky when they ventured out into the deer trails. But like you mentioned, so many people have made their way out into the deer stand for Modern Gun season, and they're either going to stick it out tonight or they're going to come back in for some food and Razorback football and then get back at it tomorrow morning.
With technology, there will be a lot of people using those tailgaters we tell you about from our buddies over at World of Wireless, or finding out a way to watch. Now you can watch on your phones, and I know there's some guys right now. In fact, text us. We want to hear. I know you can't call, so text us at 877-377-6963. I guarantee you, Ty, we got people listening on a tree stand right now. They can't call because they can't talk. They got to be really, really quiet. But they could text us and give us some of their thoughts on the game.
Yeah, and then also, like we just got,
and we'll read them, but we won't whisper like that, but we'll read them back. So we want to hear from someone on a tree stand right now.
Which they're
via text.
And if you want to send us a picture of your prized possession today, like Pilot Mike did, feel free to do that too.
So he went duck hunting today, or is that an old picture? Because it's not duck season yet. Not in Arkansas.
I don't know where
you'd be open for duck season yet.
Dude, I don't know.
All right.
You know me when it comes to hunting.
You may just be making some gumbo from last year's. I don't think duck season does open later this month.
He said from Kansas.
Okay.
Is it open in Kansas?
It might be.
Dude, I have no idea.
Southern parts of the flyway, not there. I've never been duck hunting, but I know words like flyway, and that makes me sound smarter.
PA in Texarkana, he comments on our YouTube live stream. He says, there is nothing better, Ty, than duck gumbo. That's why I was disappointed. I will make my way to Stuttgart, Arkansas next November around Thanksgiving for duck gumbo, because apparently there's just nothing like that. So, but like Tommy said, feel free to chime in, send us where you're at, send us what your comments are for the game tonight. I know you can't necessarily call because you're awaiting that buck, but we will get to your
send us a picture from your tree stand.
Yeah.
We'd like to see some of that today. So 877-377-6963. Text it into the program. I love technology, Ty, because now we can interact via text. So
Exactly. All right, coming up here on Arkansas Game Day, we'll continue to unpack Hogs and Gators tonight at 6 o'clock tonight. We're live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
There's no other pregame show that gets you more ready for the game. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Stop in today at Randall Ford, where you'll find over 150 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. We have what you want at the price that will fit your budget. We have 35 certified pre-owns. We even have over 25 vehicles under $10,000 and no payment for 90 days. All used vehicles go through a 115-point safety inspection. Plus, we will deliver your new purchase right to your front door. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com. Home of the lowest price guarantee.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from Wild World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional, Dish-authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, Wild World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH for more details, or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers, or visit us online at shopwildnow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter agents Marsha Cox or Phil Hicks about renter's insurance.
Winter is just around the corner. Don't get caught out in the cold. Did you know you could save up to 60% on your heating bill by converting to safe, reliable natural gas from AOG? The savings can actually pay for your conversion cost. In addition, natural gas can deliver your energy needs on the coldest day, even when the power is out. Call 784-2000 or visit AOGC.com and switch to natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now reopened and ready to serve you. We're open 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Breakfast is served all day and our full menu is available at 10:30 a.m. All you can eat steak on Thursday night, cooked order prime rib on Friday night, and now we deliver on Waiter. Curbside and to go is still available. Call ahead 632-1014.
Are you feeling like your business technology works like a wishbone, wishing it would just work? If your business is operating without a true technology backbone, now's the time to make a change. With Pinnacle Telecom, you can get blazing internet speeds and cloud voice service options that will make your business work for you. Don't waste precious time just wishing your technology would work. Let the reliability of Pinnacle Telecom be the backbone of your business technology. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Arts Barbecue and Burgers has several new items they've added to the menu. Stop by Arts and try something new, like the El Diablo Burger, a spicy pork patty with grilled jalapenos, hot barbecue sauce, and pepper jack cheese on Texas toast, or the all-new smoked Philly beef sandwich, or the patty melt, and backed by popular demand, the 14-ounce smoked ribeye. Plus, Arts can handle all your game day home gating or tailgating menus. Try something new at Arts Barbecue and Burgers on Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. It's Arkansas Game Day. Tommy Kraft, I'm Todd Richardson, and the text line, Tommy, starting to beep up a little bit. Rod on I-40, instead of sending us a picture from his deer stand, he sent us a picture from his truck, as he often does.
Rod's a professional driver. He drives a big 18-wheel truck, and he sent us one for the cab. That's about as high up as a tree stand almost, and you could certainly kill a deer that way, but probably not what we were looking for. But, Rod, we appreciate you listening. Chris just sent us a great picture. He is in his tree stand today, so good thumbs up there, Chris. Got your Hunter Orange cap on, and good luck to you, and go Hogs back to you. So we gotten a few in this morning. Got another one from Hemp Hill, Texas. He didn't give us a name, but caller from the 50 or a texter from the 501 listening from a tree stand in Hemp Hill, Texas, waiting on a biggin. Not a big one, but that's how you say it. A biggin.
I'm begging.
No, begging to come by.
Hemp Hill, Texas.
Appreciate all you guys out there listening online. HitThatLine.com or on one of our great radio stations. While you've waited all year long for this day. So I'm glad you got a 6 o'clock game, so you don't have to miss anything. And B, the weather. I bet every one of you wanted a little bit colder for the rut, but hey, you're not freezing your tookish off out there today either.
I was looking up. I didn't know where.
A little bit windy though.
I didn't know where the heck Hemp Hill was. It is. It's North Texas, Tommy. It's basically on the Oklahoma border. I guess the biggest town it's closest to is Amarillo, so that's kind of where Hemp Hill is. But
Amarillo, ooh, that's out. That's 3 miles from nowhere. That's 30 miles from nowhere.
I know it's way up there at the top of North. It's literally at the tip.
Panhandle.
So it's the top of North Texas, but just kind of it's funny how Tommy. I guess it's Hemp Hill County. Maybe it's Northwest, but Tommy, it's interesting when you think about like hunting areas and stuff. It's always like these like really smaller towns that people go to, and just like it's kind of like college towns where it's
you don't hunt in town.
Yeah. Well, I just find it interesting how like it's these towns with small populations, and then all of a sudden during hunting season, there's just this influx of people that flood the town on weekends based on just how many deer and how many duck are just in the route, whether in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Kansas, Missouri. Those are kind of our bordering state. Mississippi, Tennessee. It's just it's a cool part of just being in the South, getting to experience this part of this
You're
part
right.
of life.
And it's a tradition in this part of the country and in the South that you go deer hunting and you're there opening day. And in a normal year, particularly like when Week 10 of high school football season coincides with the opening weekend of modern gun and deer season, there's a lot of schools that will move their Week 10 game to Thursday night to allow everybody. And basically Friday's a ghost town at these schools, or they just close down schools. Some schools in very rural parts of Arkansas close down for the first week of modern gun because no one's going to be there. They're going to be at deer camp. And it's just part of the way of life, and they work around it. I totally I've got family that loves it. I got an uncle right now that's in Texas. I know a lot of people didn't get to travel to deer hunt this year, and there are more people partaking in just this great sport in our state right now than probably have in a number of years. So best of luck to everyone. Be safe out there. And, again, glad you're not freezing to death.
And it's Christopher that's in Hemp Hill, Texas, Tommy.
Good.
So there's a Hemp Hill County, and then there's a Hemp Hill, Texas. And I was looking at Hemp Hill County. He says it's south of Lufkin on the Texas-Louisiana border, which if I wasn't looking at a map, that would not help me whatsoever. But I am, so I know where that is now.
Well, I mean, up where you were talking about, that'd be so flat. I mean, I'm sure there's some deer up there. That'd be a flat part of the state, I would think. But anyway, so I know a lot of guys that they live for this couple of weeks of the year for gun season.
I had my first beer on some hunting land. That was my dad's listening
3
right
weeks
now.
ago, folks.
Yeah. My dad's listening, so he'll find this entertaining. But I was 17 years old, and I was taken out, and I had I think it was a Busch Light, and I was not a fan at the time, but now I enjoy them. So it's a little different how your palate.
An acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. That's what I've been told over the years. But cool. And again, if you want to keep texting us in where you are, where you're hunting today, we'd love to get them. Again, like Tommy mentioned, it is the first day of modern gun season. So while Tommy and I aren't necessarily avid hunters, my brother is. I have a bunch of family members and friends that are. It is kind of cool to get these texts, get these pictures, because it's not a daily walk of life, but it's definitely a part of many of our listeners' life, and it's cool to be able to share this with them any way possible.
Yeah, this job, because we're so busy this time of the year, just really prohibits really getting able to really pour your passion into it. I've got we got some land that was my dad's that me and my brother now share, that neither one of us have the time this time of year because of our jobs, but we get a great amount of enjoyment watching our family and close friends that do have the time and work at it. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of work, building your food plots and getting those in and putting your tree stands up. And, this isn't a deal where you just show up opening day and hope a deer comes by you. There's a lot of work that goes into putting corn in feeders and putting feeders out and on and on and on to get ready for a day like this.
Yeah, and it's time and effort, man.
That's exactly right. It's no different than this football game tonight in its own perspective, in its own world that, hey, there's a lot of preseason that went into today to get ready for the season, I promise you. So.
Justin texts in. He said, Workman's Travel Center here in Ozark has been packed with hunters the past 3 days.
Yeah, that's a major gateway to the hunting grounds up Highway 23. So.
And Justin said he is heading up to the National Forest. W and Wick said the woods are filled with Texans, so oh man, you want to read that or do you want me to? I just started it. That's okay to read, right? I can.
Yeah,
read that.
Go ahead and read that.
Okay.
W's trying to have some fun down there in the Wick, so don't take this too serious if you're from Texas.
The woods are filled with Texans, so check your shot before you take it. It would suck to hit a deer instead of a Texan.
Now, Clay would approve of that. Clay would really like that.
Oh, man. I see. That's the comedic relief that we needed this morning. Yeah. So, again, we'll be happy to field your text, field your pictures as many of you are hunting today. But we'll come back after this conversation. We'll talk some more hogs and
Loading
gators
up for
tonight.
deer camp. That's
yeah.
what one of these came in and said.
Make a rhyme anytime. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Yeah. So we're live here at Arkansas Game Day at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
The pregame show that gets you hyped. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, back again in World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is the number, celebrating 25 years in business at World of Wireless. Make the move to DISH. Get the Hopper 3 system. You get $200 in gifts, a $100 Visa gift card, and then you're also throwing in the Google Hub, which allows you to automate your home.
Yes, call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. Check out the home automation, the smart home products with us, and we're giving you one for free when you sign up with new DISH service. If you want to get a Google Home camera, you can actually see who's at the door on your television screen with the DISH Hopper 3 system.
That's a great deal.
You want to watch the kids in the backyard? You can have it on every Joey. See a camera on every receiver in the house and every TV in the house if you got kids playing in the backyard. So you don't have to use it just for security reasons. But you got to come by and see us at the corner of Church Street and Highway 22 in Barling next to Franco Furniture.
All right, help them celebrate 25 years. Make the move to DISH. Get $200 in gifts, part of the 25-year celebration going on right now at World Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
Wee-oo! Beat up sauce alert. 4 new sauces just hit the menu. Listen closely for the lineup. Player 1, pizza sauce. The game day decision of pizza versus wings is now easier than ever. Player 2, lemon pepper. Yep, that's right. Now it's a sauce too. Player 3, orange sauce. Served with a fortune cookie on the side. And lastly, coming in hot, Carolina Reaper. This sauce just moved up to captain, taking over as Beat Up's new blazing sauce. Locations in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Sherwood, Jonesboro, and Conway. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Full Budweiser flavor. For all the moments you want a beer and need to stay on your game. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
We're now living in uncharted waters with the spread of COVID-19. With the partial closing of a lot of businesses, sadly, some will soon try and turn your possessions into their possessions. Guardtronic has been providing security for homes and businesses for over 60 years. Whether you need a camera system to keep an eye on things or a complete home security system, call Guardtronic 479-785-2323 or go online to guardtronic.com. We have so many worries these days, safety should not be one of them. License E50.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
You've had some really fun games with the Florida Gators the past 2 decades. Now, fun might be an interesting way to describe some of the heartbreaking losses that you've suffered in this series, but if you look at it from an outside perspective, take off your Razorback glasses for a sec. These have been fun games, and I want to talk about some of those games and what we could see tonight. It's Arkansas Game Day. Tommy Kraft. I'm Ty Richardson. We're live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. And Randall Ford always goes above and beyond when it comes to customer service. They will deliver your new purchase right to your door. Plus, if you have a car service need that needs to be taken care of, they will bring by the mobile service van, and they can take care of all your service needs with that. They're also taking orders on the 2021 Ford F-150s and the all-new Broncos. So come on by and see us. It's Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue here in Fort Smith. Tommy, if you had to look at the 2003 loss to Chris Leak, the 2006 SEC championship loss, or the 2009 loss, is there one that stands out as more frustrating of those 3 games?
Well, probably 09, because you feel like Mark Curls and the officiating crew that day had too heavy a hand in the outcome of the game. I mean, essentially they ripped victory away from you with a play that I still believe Mark Curls, the referee, saw the tail end of the play with Malcolm Shepard, didn't see the whole play, and the moment he laid his eyes on the replay, he knew he had made a bad mistake that turned the outcome of that game.
A dire mistake.
So that one sticks with me. 06, because of Reggie Fish, you're not as certain you would have won that game in 06 in the championship game. Now that one sticks with you because of what weighed in the balance. You win that game, and perhaps you're in the talk for a national championship opportunity. I doubt that they would have given Arkansas that shot, but with UCLA upsetting USC that same night, that's what propelled Florida into that opportunity. I don't know that Arkansas would have went on to win the national title, but they'd at least won their first SEC title, and that would have been one box that they've never checked in 30 years, or close to going on 30 years now, not quite there since joining the SEC. So 09 because you haven't won in the Swamp, but 06 might edge that out just because of what weighed in the balance that day, or that night rather, in Atlanta.
And I think when you look at each of those games, there's something that stands out that Arkansas wasn't able to capitalize on. Let's start in 2003. I actually had lunch with former Razorback quarterback Matt Jones yesterday, and we didn't talk any football. We talked golf and soccer, of all things. But Matt would tell you that he had a couple picks that he threw that game that he knows he wish he could have back. He led the Razorbacks back in that one, and you had a couple touchdowns for Richard Smith, a couple big-time plays from Matt Jones, and you were oh so close, but it was really the turnovers that killed you in that game. Well, Tommy, lately they have not been turning the ball over. You had 4 fumbles against the Tennessee Volunteers. Luckily, you were able to get on top of every single one of those. It is going to be very important for the Arkansas Razorbacks to take care of the football tonight, or Arkansas is not only not going to cover, they're not going to. This game is not going to be close if they turn the ball over.
Oh, you're right. You got to be more careful with the ball. You can't be as careless. And Arkansas put it down, but it's about where you drop it, where you fumble it, and what part of the field it's on, and who's around you when it happens. And Arkansas was fortunate to get those back. And a lot of those last week weren't forced fumbles. They were just mistakes where they, dropped the football, and they were unforced errors that you can't have. So they need to be more diligent with taking care and securing the football tonight, because Arkansas, particularly you think about the one at the goal line with Kern that was covered up going in, you can't afford to give up an opportunity to score on a team like Florida when you get it deep into the red zone and then you give the ball back to them. Yeah, you don't lose the field position no more than you can afford to make a mistake on the other end of the field and give Florida a short field to go score quickly. But if Arkansas gets the offensive opportunities in a game that likely will be a shootout to some degree, maybe the first to 40 wins this ball game, and that's going to be hard to stop Florida from getting there, you can't afford to miss opportunities when you give them in the red zone by having a self-inflicted mistake by turning the ball over.
Let me ask you something. Do you think Arkansas is going to be able to hold Florida to less than 40 points? Because I said 38-24, and that's, essentially right on the fringe.
Right.
But, for Arkansas to compete in this football game, I don't think Arkansas's offense is good enough to give up 40 points. If they give up 40 points, there's no chance Arkansas wins tonight, right?
We talked about the history, and again, history's not prophecy.
Not kind.
But the history in this series is not good. Arkansas has never scored more than 31 points against Florida. How do you break that? How do you snap that? Now, Sam Pittman's teams have been about snapping streaks and changing history to some degree this year, but that's a number I think has to change. I don't think Arkansas could win this game 31-30 or 31-28 or some number like that, 28-20. I just don't think it's going to be that kind of game tonight, Ty. I think in order for Arkansas to win, you're going to have to find a way for your offense to score 5 touchdowns. That's not something that they have done. Maybe it's a deal where your special team sets you up on a short field. Maybe your defense can get you 1 or 2 turnovers. But, hey, based on the way Trask has played this year, one's pushing it, 2's stretching it. So I don't know. That's the tough part, is how do you get to 35 points if you're Arkansas tonight? I haven't found the path to that.
I haven't either, and that worries me a little bit, because this football team in the Arkansas Razorbacks is going up against a juggernaut of an offensive squad. And we mentioned the presence of Kyle Field impacting Florida's offense and him not being there. Obviously, the 83 yards a game and the 8 touchdowns of the season has been a huge part of Florida's offensive success. But even without him, I think they're going to find a way to still score some points. Can Kendall Briles once again, and again, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, as there is other guys tonight, to deliver against the Florida Gators, because they are going to need a lot of offense, I think, to beat it. Can they do it? That's something we'll have to wait and see on. But again, Arkansas 6-0 against the spread. I think one of the consistent themes as we close down this segment here, and again, it's Arkansas Game Day with Tommy Kraft and Ty Richardson live at Randall Ford. You can call in 877-377-6963. What I've heard from different Arkansas fans, Tommy, is that there's not many that necessarily think Arkansas is going to go and win tonight, but they don't believe that Arkansas is going to get blown out. They think that Arkansas is going to once again cover, and I've actually talked to a lot of listeners that have bet on the Hogs just to cover tonight based on them being 6-0 against the spread this season. I think that's also important when you look at the fabric and the makeup of this football team, that even though they might not win, I think it's pretty consensus that this team is going to go compete tonight.
And I think that there's a great argument to be made there. Let me make the one on the other side just to balance the conversation. Florida at 4-1, while they've got a good chance to end the regular season at 9-1 and make their case against Alabama, they want to do as much as they can to make statistically their case to the committee, if need be, as a 2-loss team. And that second loss maybe as a field goal at the end of the game, a last-second score that Alabama needs to beat them, of why they should be in the college football playoff perhaps as a 4 seed. A lot of scenarios could play out, but I'm sure Florida wants to look as impressive as they can down the stretch to the College Football Playoff Committee, who's really starting to hone in on paying attention to where teams are at. Florida at number 6 in the country, 4-1, likely the team to win the Eastern Division. They don't want the only path to the playoff to be just beating Alabama. They lose to Alabama, they want to try to figure out how to make a case as a 2-loss team. That gets pretty tough. You got to be impressive in games against Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, LSU, Kentucky the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
All right.
they may want to run it up a little bit just to pad the stats.
I hope not. All right, we'll come back here. We'll give our score predictions here. If you want to give yours, feel free to 877-377-6963. It's Arkansas Game Day live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
There's no other pregame show that gets you more ready for the game. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Randall Ford is excited to announce their state-of-the-art mobile service van, stocked with all the latest tools and technology needed to service your vehicle. Everything from oil changes, warranty repair, battery, software updates, brake jobs, and so much more. All is done with your convenience and safety in mind. We'll come to your office or home to provide professional service the Randall Ford way. Stop by today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or check us out online 24/7, randallford.com. Ford, the #1 selling brand in America.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, back again at World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is the phone number. We're celebrating 25 years in business. The name is World of Wireless because they do everything wireless. Satellite systems with DISH. You can get all the great deals. Plus, you do high-speed internet of all kinds.
Yeah, call WOW now or go to wowfastinternet.com. We offer internet everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. We offer it in the city, outside the city, rural areas, especially if you're east of Fort Smith or south of Fort Smith. And we're launching new services in the Altus area and the Denning area. But you got to call World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH and ask about bundling your internet with your DISH TV service.
You know, for years, if you lived in a rural area, DSL might be the best you can do, or an air card that was expensive. It's amazing the options you have available for people that live in rural areas.
Unlimited data, fast speeds, fast enough to stream, certainly fast enough to do your on-demand with your DISH services. But you got to call us at 877-305-DISH or go to wowfastinternet.com.
Again, that's 877-305-3474.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith or Jim Milam in Charleston about Shelter's home insurance.
Frank Roll Furniture Super Black Friday Blowout Sale, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thanksgiving Day the 26th, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday the 27th, and 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Saturday the 28th. For example, Catnapper Reclining Sofa and Loves regular $22.50, on sale finance price $18.22, cash price $16.70. Store-wide sale. All furniture, bedroom furniture, and mattresses are on sale. 3 days only at Frank Roll Furniture Super Black Friday Sale. Best seats in the house.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
This is Brett Good, former Razorback and Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Everyone loves to be on a winning team. That is why I have joined Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Henderson Phillips can help you tackle all your employee benefit, health insurance, and staffing management solutions. Plus, I can help you with any commercial or personal insurance need. Come join my team at Henderson Phillips. Call me, Brett Good, at 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
Whether it's a game day, a holiday, an office function, or your family lunch or dinner, Whole Hog Cafe in Fort Smith is ready to serve you their award-winning barbecue and sides. Call either of the Whole Hog Fort Smith locations on Borough Road or Phoenix Avenue, or go online to wholehogfortsmith.com and check out their buddy packs and party packs. Both Whole Hog locations are open with limited seating until further notice. They're open 11 till 6 Tuesday through Saturday. Experience award-winning barbecue and sides at Whole Hog Cafe today.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Got one more segment here on Arkansas Game Day. So if you want to get in real quick, it's 877-377-6963. Tommy, we mentioned our score predictions yesterday, and we'll kind of go back over those real quick. I'll start with mine. I said 38-24 Florida. I think that Arkansas is going to have it within a touchdown in the fourth, and Kyle Trask and company will be punching one in late and kind of in the game like that. I think it's going to be a game where the Arkansas Razorbacks compete throughout. Hopefully you won't have any special teams gaffes tonight, but I think it's a game that ultimately Florida's talent prevails and Dan Mullen gets another victory as they get closer and closer to Atlanta, Georgia for the SEC championship.
Yeah, I've went with 34-21. I still feel good about that number. I don't think it changes a lot with Kyle Pitts out. Arkansas, I think, is going to have to figure out, and it's going to be harder than we think to score 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. Florida's not known for their defense, but they still got a decent enough defense to give Arkansas some problems. The question is, can this Arkansas defense be a real Achilles heel tonight for Trask and that Florida offense that carries this team? 34 would be really something to be proud of tonight if that's what you could hold Florida to. 34-21 would be a great final tonight, even though you had lost. This is one of those games at the beginning of the year we talked about, can you avoid embarrassment? And so far, Arkansas has not been embarrassed one time this year. To me, this game and the Alabama game are the last 2 chances to really go out and lay an egg or embarrass yourself, not be competitive down the stretch. Tonight you can clear that hurdle. What is the toughest road task, I believe, left for the season.
Tommy, you bring up the embarrassment aspect of this, and I think that's important because before the season began, we kind of grouped and coupled certain games into categories. It was the games you had no chance in, the games you have you're probably going to lose, but maybe you have a chance in the games that you should probably win. Well, so far this season, the games that you should probably win, you've won both those games. That was Mississippi State and Ole Miss. And then you move on to, you still have Missouri coming up. The next category were games you feel good about, but you still have a great opportunity. That was Tennessee. It was Texas A&M, LSU, and there's one other game that I'm forgetting. But you look at the games, Tommy, that Arkansas, from the outside looking in before the season began, it's they're probably not going to compete against them. Well, Tommy, they've already competed against Georgia, and they held them for 39 minutes with the league. Now you're getting another one of those games where early on in the offseason you're they don't stand a chance. They very much do stand a chance tonight against the Florida Gators. And, to go from that mindset before the season began to now where there's legitimately a person or two that is picking the Razorbacks to win tonight, that is just so staggering to me how far not only they've come, just what they've done on the football field, but just the perception as a whole of this football program.
You hadn't played a team this good since A&M, which I know was a couple of weeks ago, and maybe you could say a team this good since Georgia, but Georgia was really about their defense. Probably hadn't played an offense this good since you played A&M. So, let's just see. Have you really played a complete team yet this year that had a great offense and great defense? Probably not. But, Arkansas had a chance to get a really good, complete win against Auburn. We know what happened to that ball game. You've beaten 3 teams that really have not been impressive since those wins. Tonight, this would be a signature victory for this team. This would be something that, would be undoubtedly a statement about where this program is. And you look at, what Petrino was able to do in his first year. You look at even Bielema early in his first year should have won at LSU. You at some point, I believe, in these last 4 games for Arkansas, and you run out of opportunities to make a statement, this might be the night where you make a statement about where this program is headed. And you could make a statement even in a very close loss tonight, but that's not the statement we're wanting to make. We're wanting to put one in bold, highlighted, big font tonight, and that would be a win in Gainesville.
That's actually a good point to bring up. You think about the statement games in year one for head coaches. Bobby Petrino's statement game, while they weren't ranked, it was beating LSU in Little Rock. Brett Bielema had a chance to make a statement game on the road against LSU. Zach Mettenberger gets injured. Anthony Jennings comes in and then throws a deep ball, which wins the LSU Tigers that football game. Chad Morris didn't make a statement in his tenure. Go back to Houston Nutt. It was Houston's, what would you say, the Alabama win where they just thumped the crap out of them?
And I mean, in '98 there were a lot. Just the 8-0 start would be the statement. But yes, what was it, 42-6 against Alabama? Without looking, I think that was the number they beat them week 3. Of course, Alabama still had the brand, but they weren't. And won the 92 national title, but they weren't the Alabama they are today. But, yeah, that was probably the early statement game that set them on the course for that start.
So, Arkansas, great opportunity tonight.
Yeah.
Can you make a statement? Can you make a statement not only against potentially the SEC Coach of the Year in Dan Mullen, but a guy that could end up in New York at the Heisman Trophy presentation in Kyle Trask? We'll see. Again, 6 o'clock start time here on ESPN Arkansas, ESPN 99.5, and hitthatline.com. We're excited as you are, and we'll see what happens leading up to that game. And then also got to watch for the COVID numbers as well. For Tommy Kraft, I'm Todd Richardson, live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Randall Ford is excited to